Stress management is the key. Most people seek comfort. Why? It's comfortable, it's pleasurable, it feels good. The minute someone feels this extra stress, this unchosen stress, that's how you really operate in the world. Chosen stress, chosen suffering is a beautiful way to tap into that part of you that freaks out, that gets anxious, that's depressed. All these emotions that come up, stress brings it up. And why am I saying this? Is I learned something valuable again this past weekend. I was with a group of men in the Santa Barbara Mountains in a town called Ojai and Sespe Mountains. And we went on this retreat. And what's interesting about stress management is that it comes in all forms. It comes in mental aptitude, it comes in physical aptitude, it comes in emotional aptitude. And so I got asked to come to this retreat, and I heard it was a 5-mile hike. So no problem, I got my backpack, met the men down there. And what I found out, in my backpack had about 60, 70 pounds of just stuff, a tent, all the things you need to go out in the wilderness. And unbeknownst to me, it was 5 miles to camp. And a mile in, one of the men was struggling. His calves tightened up, his quads tightened up. He couldn't bear it. So each of us had to volunteer carrying his backpack as well as our backpack. It's a lot of weight, 150, 120 pounds, right? 110 pounds total, plus hiking up 7,000 feet in elevation. The next day, it was 5 miles to the peak and 5 miles back. And on the way, it started raining. So we did 15 miles in less than 30 hours. And then Sunday morning, we got up, broke camp. It's still damp outside, and another 5 miles back. And here's what I learned is it was probably the 4th hardest things I've ever done in my life. The pain was excruciating, going up and down. We had 3 days of fatigue, and the amount of stress in my body, like my shoulders were literally on fire. I was telling some friends of mine and the men after we were gone, what came to mind was the last 30 minutes as we're ascending and descending down. All I imagined was Jesus Christ. I imagined him carrying the crucifix down to the last minutes of his life, and the burden that he felt for humanity, and the amount of stress that he was going through, and the amount of pain. And yet at the end of the day, when he was crucified, all he said was, "Father, please forgive them." And I actually broke down because I felt the burden of myself, of this backpack of my life, carrying it. And all I said was, "One more step, Albert, one more step, one more step." And I just kept looking at the ground. Wasn't looking at where I was going. It was just one more step because it was, treacherous. But what I found, another level of myself, was I figured out that I can hold on to massive, massive amounts of stress, physically and mentally and emotionally. And my self-talk was actually pretty damn good. I wasn't saying, "Don't be a bitch," or "Don't do this." I was literally one step at a time, one step at a time. And I thought about Jesus in the last 30 minutes. All I thought about was the pain, the courage, the strength that he had. And I know at some point in time, he gave up the cross because he couldn't do it. All that being said, he was under a massive amount of stress. Folks, stress management is where you find yourself. Stress management is where you find that level that you didn't know you had capacity for. Stress management, chosen suffering, this chosen suffering of choosing to do hard shit, choosing to do the hardest thing, choosing to be uncomfortable, is the secret sauce for finding yourself. Because you're going to have this unchosen suffering in life where there's going to be, death in the family, something catastrophic, some massive stress that you can't control. And this stress management you're putting yourself through is preparing you for the unknown. I'll say that again. Chosen suffering is a way for you to get understand your emotions and how you're feeling, so that when that thing that happens in life, the girlfriend that leaves you, the wife that leaves you, the husband that leaves you, losing your job, going bankrupt, losing a loved one, something seriously catastrophic, that you don't freak out and shut down. So this daily chosen suffering of getting up early, of eating right, of being disciplined is such a valuable tool. The things that I did this past week only elevated that mindset that I need to do more chosen suffering things in life, so that I can stay so dialed in to my emotions, so that when that thing happens in life, I don't it all away. I don't run to vices. I don't do something reactive that's going to hurt someone or hurt myself. Chosen suffering is the number one thing that you should do to understand your emotions and how you operate. Flat out, this is the best advice I'm going to give you, that if you can do more of these aptitude events in life, to where you're choosing to do something that's hard, you're going to have an easier life. Let's go.